Well, hi. Today is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Do be safe if you're traveling around. Keep in mind with the winter weather, and none of us are used to it. Usually by February, we've all gotten our winter driving legs under us, but this is the first time that we've actually had to use it. So just be safe. Give yourself some extra time. You know, the old cliche about making sure you got extra space between you and the car ahead of you. It's true. It's a cliche for a reason. Extra time to brake, all of that stuff. So just keep all of that in mind. I'm going to have a special guest that is going to be coming up very, very shortly on the show. It is Joe Huntoon, and we're going to tell you about a brand new dog boarding facility that is just south of Council Bluffs, and you're gonna learn all about it. I was down there a couple of days ago, and this was a phenomenal facility, and we're gonna fill you in about that. And I had a chance to talk with Joe. We did an interview on site, and all of that is coming up later on in the program. Also, yesterday was kind of a chance for me to meet some other folks in the same industry that I do, and I was able to be a guest on another podcast. It won't be released until probably towards the end of the month. But the gentleman's name is Dylan Yeomans, and his podcast is the UIA Trusted Partner Podcast. UIA stands for United Insurance Agencies, and they do a podcast right out of their offices over there off of Maple in West Omaha. And it was pretty informative. I got a chance to learn more about him and everything that goes on over there. And he asked some really great questions. He's been doing this podcast for a while. I think he said he had up close to 90 episodes now. So when that comes out, I'll let you know, and we'll get that shared over to you. Also, yesterday, I had a chance to have a conversation with someone who's doing something very similar to what I'm doing, only she's doing it in Nebraska. And she has a podcast. Her name is Sheila Jenkinson. She's ex-radio, just like me. And her podcast is called Growing Small Town Nebraska. And she goes out to small towns in Nebraska, talks with businesses, talks with tourist boards, and all kinds of different folks. And it's really a very popular podcast, and it's doing quite well. We're going to put a link to her podcast, and also we're going to put a link to that UIA Trusted Partner podcast in the description here, so you can go and take a look. And I think Sheila and I may end up doing some a little bit of a partnership together and doing some helping each other out with collaboration. And I'm looking forward to it because as I was talking to her yesterday, you know, you can just sometimes, you meet the kindred spirit and somebody who thinks like you do and has the same philosophy for webcasting as it is now, because, everything that she learned in radio transferred over just like mine did. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So, and give her podcast a listen. She does a great, great job with it. And again, it's the Growing Small Town Nebraska podcast. And that link is in the description. AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning and Waldstein Plumbing, they're big supporters of what we do here on Morning Coffee. And also, they are big supporters of the community. Travis and his wife, Amy, all of their kids went through the Lewis Central District, and one of them, now Hayden, is one of the owners of Waldstein Plumbing. And, when integrity matters, these are the guys that you want to get a hold of. So if you have any HVAC needs, if you have any plumbing needs, you just need to, maybe you need to get your HVAC system inspected or slow drains or anything that's going on, just get a hold of these guys, AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning of Council Bluffs, and also Waldstein Plumbing. Also on the show yesterday, in case you missed it, was Foxco Fabrication's own Rick Graybill. He's got the World of Wheels coming up next month, and he talks about that and also talks about some of the different projects that he can do for you, including turning your truck into a flatbed truck. So if you go to foxcofab.com, you can see a number of different projects that they have done, different items that they have for sale, and some of the things that they can do for you. So that website, again, is foxcofab.com. Okay. This is Joe Huntoon, and he is with S&B Country Kennel, and we are technically, are we in the Council Bluffs zip code, or because I think I crossed the county line into Mills County coming here.
Yep, we are Council Bluffs mailing address, Mills County.
That's okay. So it's kind of like an overlap right
Yeah.
in there. But
Yeah.
this is a dog kennel facility, both overnight and also for day.
Yeah.
Just
We're dog boarding, daycare, training. We have a groomer on site, and we have a self-washing dog station so people can come wash their own dogs. We have a members-only dog park, and we are a rescue. So we also bring dogs in and rehab them and rehome them
how long have you been here?
at this location.
At this location, yes, because I know you got started down in Glenwood, but at this location, how long have you been here?
Just over a year and a half we've been opened up. We opened up in June of 23.
And for the facility to be the size that it is, it's kind of unique, isn't it?
I would say so. Yeah, I believe
Especially
it.
for this area.
Yeah, yeah. I believe we are the largest kennel in Southwest Iowa. We have 107 kennels.
It's not just, how many dogs you can get in here. You got a ton of space. I mean, you talked about,
Yeah.
the dog park that's out there.
Yeah,
That's huge.
yeah. The dog park's about an acre and a quarter, and even our dog yards that are connected to the boarding rooms, they're between 5,500 square feet and 6,000 square feet each yard. So they have plenty of room to run outside. And then when we do go to the park, when we do take the dogs all to the park, then they have a huge area to run out there, and we have a pond in there. And I built a couple gazebos, and with that pond, I revamped it last summer as well. And we put a pond liner in it with a sand bottom and rock all the way around it, trying to keep that mud down. It was a mess.
Probably doesn't hurt that you have a construction background. So you can see a lot of this stuff as far as need goes.
Yeah.
And you can say, oh, well, we can do it this way. We can do it this way. And it just kind
The
of all falls
construction
together.
definitely helps.
Yeah.
Also having the connections. It takes a village. You may have heard that saying before. I couldn't have done this without some of my help. Not just my employees, but concrete companies, dirt movers, HVAC, drywallers. I mean, I just had a connection with everybody in the industry. And this building in January 12th of 23 was an open shell. There I had a picture, from one year ago. I opened June 28th, 2023. So in 6 months, I built every wall, every floor, drywalled, painted, trimmed, insulated, electrical, plumbed, everything in 6 months.
Not just that, but you also had to make some adjustments along the way because
Most
as
definitely.
you're doing this, you found out, oh, wait a minute, we need to make some changes because this needs to be this way.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as if you just had plans and put it together. It was just a constant process.
It's all in my brain.
Yeah.
It's how my brain works, kind of crazy like that. But I did know, I was very versed on exactly what numbers I needed, square footage, 62 feet by 26 feet. I throw a tape down and mark my floor, and I snap a line, and there goes a wall.
Right.
So I did have a really good idea of how I was going to build it, and then things do change along the way, but they'll be small.
Right. You've taken me on a tour. I've been very, very impressed with this place.
Thank you.
The first thing that just jumps right out at me is the cleanliness that's here. I mean, it is clean. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, other than the fact that I can hear some dogs, had I not seen them, I wouldn't know that there was dogs here. I mean, that's the level of you have taken with all of this to make sure that you're keeping your dogs safe, you're keeping your staff safe, you're keeping your clients safe. All of that ties in together, and it looks like you've got a lot of different processes and a lot of different systems in place in order to make sure all that happens.
Yes, sir. Took a lot of thinking beforehand. And since I had another facility, since 2016 till 2022 when I started building this, I knew what worked and what didn't work. I knew what improvements I needed to make to coming into this. So I just implemented all those. And yes, having the construction background, my brain works a little bit differently. So most definitely, yeah, all of that was thought about before we even put the first post in the ground out here.
With the previous facility, which it did not have the capacity that this one does, Is there a lot of differences other than size? I mean, did you have to make this different in order to accommodate this type of population of animals?
Just the size. I mean, there was still a lot of things that I had learned at the other facility, like anti-fight panels. The walls, the kennels are built exactly the same. I had indoor-outdoor runs. I just added some more anti-fight panels so that the dogs are safer, so there's no fighting from kennel to kennel on the outside of the building. The inside, even the old kennel was built just like this one. So a lot of things are still the same because I guess from the first time I built it, it worked and it was right.
So where can people find you online? Do you just have a website? Is that how you're getting your name out there right now, or how are they finding you?
We have a website, sbcountrykennel.com, and then Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So SMB Country with a K, Kennel. So SMB Country Kennel on Facebook. We post a lot of content. We try to post content almost every day, post videos. People just want to see their dogs, whether they're just walking around a yard or whatever they're doing. Now we're trying to make those videos a little funner. We're trying to do some different marketing ideas, maybe adding some music or some wording and stuff like that, but we're still growing that. I have some younger staff members that are a lot better with technology than myself. They're doing amazing work at making videos, creating content, showing dogs in their best light.
Talk about your staff a little bit. You've got a lot of people here, and I know that this is just who's here right now. I'm sure that there's other folks that are not here currently, but talk about them a little bit, because I know that any successful business cannot be successful unless you have a staff that believes in what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, and I think that it takes a while to build a team. I'm coming into my third season. I've carried over one staff member from the old kennel. Everybody else has left or evolved out, and I have staff here that's been here coming up on a year. Some have been here just over a year. So since we've been in this building, our staff has been pretty solid, and we're going to add to that. We got a manager in here now. She's been great working on the financial side of things that I didn't normally wasn't looking at. I build with my hands, not with my mind per se on a computer. Jason is the one that carried over from the other kennel. Jason's got a lot of experience handling dogs. He has the most, right up there with me. Him and I would be the ones that are hands-on with some of the more difficult dogs. He puts larger groups together, but our other staff, the younger ones, they're coming in and they're starting to throw some numbers out there, on dogs as well. But we want them to do it safely. We don't want them to get carried away and just give them free rein and then them get in trouble, because like we already said, not all dogs can play together. And we've established that.
And ultimately, the goal then, if you have a difficult dog that comes in that maybe has been surrendered, the goal is to get the dog to where it can go back and be in a home again safely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there must be just a ton of things that go into that process to make that happen.
Yeah, you gotta just find out their quirks, because maybe there's a reason that dog is having those issues in a home with other dogs, and not every dog can live with another dog, and that's just the way it is. We like to think they can, but humans are the biggest problem with impact fighting, whether they're throwing treats on the floor, not picking up their food bowls, or even giving affection. You got to advocate for the other dog, because if you have one dog that could fight another dog, you can't just be petting one on your lap and then the other one comes up and that can start a fight. So the human has to be educated on some of those things as well. So we would take a dog in for rescue, find the quirks, see exactly what makes that dog tick, and then at least when we try to find it a home, it's either going to be without another dog in the home, would do better with a dog in the home, maybe no children, whatever the case may be. If it's an older dog, maybe they need to be with an older person, just super easy.
Is that a hard process to be able to find a person or a family to be able to put a dog into? I mean, I'm coming into this blind. I don't know the industry, so I wouldn't have any idea about that process, about how you go about making that connection.
So they seek us out, whether it's a post. we just say come in and put in an application. If they're here going to meet the dog anyways, we'll just do an application. If they like this dog, and if they have another dog in the home, we want to see that dog as well, because we want to see how they interact. And then put in an application. There's references on there. We do call the references, and this guy going to be perfect fit. Are they good with dogs? 9 times out of 10, the references and give you a good reference. We do a house visit. We go to their house, want to see how their homes are, how their yards are, see how their fencing may be. Obviously, if I see something, I can say, hey, there's a little hole here, or maybe we can patch this up. I may even help them patch their fence up. And what else would there be? I give a lot of guidance, a lot of verbal talking, because I want it to be as successful as possible, because nobody wants a dog fight. I mean, they're very traumatizing, and they're very hard to come back from, especially the dogs. Once the dog's been in a fight with that other dog, the animosity is there, and you're at a negative then. So,
talk about where your passion for this comes from, because you have a definite passion for this, but it had to start someplace. So where did this begin?
I would say my love for the dogs came from Shia and Boston. They're 2 dogs that I had when I was a teenager into my 20s, going through a very crazy time in my life with alcohol and making bad decisions and bad relationships. But those dogs were my solid, so I could always rely on dogs. So, getting in trouble with the law and, drinking and stuff, I always came back to dogs. They always are the ones that love me unconditionally. Friends seemed like a revolving door back then, especially because that's the truth of it, Todd.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, you're
your
spot
friends
on
at a
right,
bar is not really your friends. And if you think they're your friends, go to jail one time and see who's there when you get out. That's what I mean.
Right.
So those dogs gave me this love, gave me this passion. And when I opened up that other facility, that's why I named it S&B, because I love those 2 dogs so much. It would just crushed me. They're tattooed on my back. So I wanted to help more dogs. I didn't know exactly what I was doing and where it was going to go. I had no idea. I thought I was just going to board some dogs and make a little side money, and then it just evolved and started evolving and snowballing. Within 2 years, I was being followed by 5 states and by rescues because of all the videos that I was putting out and the dogs I was socializing. And then now we got followers from all over the world. I have something like 5,500 followers now.
Wow.
So they're all over the world now.
There's still, I know it would be for me, that still has to be a little bit of a surrealness to it. That, I mean, you're a year and a half and you look around at what you have here,
Can't believe it.
and there's got to be times you walk in and you're like, wait a minute, this is my life. Where did this come from?
It's funny you ask that. I feel that every day. I've even told my friend Katie, I'm like, Katie, it doesn't even feel like it's mine. Like this land, this building, this business, it doesn't feel like it's mine. It's just been a blur. It's just, I always am thinking, how can I make it better, funner, safer, all of those things. Because I want it to be funner for staff and safer for dogs and staff. But I want it to be just kind of a cool thing, because here we're sitting in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and we have what has been deemed by the Department of Agriculture the nicest kennel in the state. Well, that kind of puts you on a pedestal. I want to stay there. Maybe as a competition in me, but I see it like I want to have the green grass, and I want the dogs to be just running around and being dogs. That's what this place was built for, because so many dogs don't get a chance to be around other dogs. And if you think about it, families that have a dog, that dog stays in their house and stays in their yard. And rarely does that dog venture out from there other than coming to boarding, right? And that's kind of the way it is. It's just kind of the norm. We throw fences up and dogs never get to see other dogs. And that's when the fights can start happening, was when they don't get to see other dogs, so they don't even know what to act like. There's barrier aggression, barrier through gates, leashes, fencing. So here we just try to break down the barriers. It's not their house, it's not their yard, so they just come in and be like, hey, this is cool, kind of fun. And when they come back and come back and come back, and now they just come in and they have a heyday. They know they're going to play. There's no fear of getting hurt, getting attacked. We do it safely. We watch the dogs playing, that's just, I love watching dogs play. I don't know where that come from. I love it.
Well, there's something soothing about it, and it's also something very, lack of a better way of putting it, very simple, that, dogs don't have a political agenda. Dogs don't have, oh, that person over there said something that I don't like, and they're saying something to my friend, and now my friend's not talking to me. They don't have all of that. And
No.
I think that, so in that aspect, we can look at the interaction that's going on out here, and we can kind of look at it, okay, we should aspire more to be like that.
Right.
As opposed to
dogs
this
are
other
the
stuff.
perfect beings.
Yeah.
Essentially, they don't care where you come from, what kind of shoes you have on, if you have BO, if you have acne. They don't care. They don't care if your hair's messed up, if it's dyed. They just don't care. They don't judge you. They don't care if you have tattoos. They're like the perfect being. If you're cool to them, they're gonna be cool to you. And that's the way the dogs are to each other. They just play with each other.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end this thing than on that. So let's give folks that website one more time if they want to learn more or want to get in touch with you. I imagine there is a process. It's not as if somebody can just bring a dog here and drop it off. There's a process involved with that. So where can they go for that?
sbcountrykennel.com. There is a link there for our Ginger software. So you would fill out a profile for your dog, which is upload a picture, your shot records, and all the information we would need on your dog and for you, email address and phone number. You can set up all your scheduling right there on that site, the Ginger. So you don't even have to call the kennel. If you can set up a profile on Ginger for your dog, you can request daycare, you can request your boarding, everything right there from Ginger. You can also find Ginger at the top of our Facebook page. That's S&B Country Kennel, country spelled with a K, on Facebook. And pinned to the top is the Ginger portal. So you can find it there as well.
He's Joe Huntoon, and it's S&B Country Kennel. And thank you. You've been very gracious with your time today.
Thank you, Todd.
You've shown around, and I feel like I've learned quite a bit here hanging out with you today. So very grateful to you, and looking forward to talking again.
Yeah, no problem. Be great.
Service Master Restore by Schmader knows it can be hard to get back to normal when you've suffered serious property damage. It could be flooding, fire, smoke. You may also be left with all sorts of questions about how to get your home or business back to normal. Service Master Restoration Services by Schmader will restore your space by offering quality commercial and residential restoration services in Council Bluffs and the surrounding area. They do everything they can do to quickly make your home or business whole again. Their staff is available 24/7 all year long, so whether you need questions answered or strategies for getting a timely restoration, they're always here to help. That's Service Master Restore by Schmader. And ThinkSpace IT would like to remind you that mistakes happen. By offering comprehensive cybersecurity training to your employees, you can ensure your team is prepared for every bump along the way. Let ThinkSpace IT help keep your employees and your data secure. Contact them today to get started with solutions that will work best for your business. You can learn about that and a lot more on their website, thinkspaceit.com. Wrapping things up on this Wednesday. Thank you so much for being a part of things. We've made it to the middle of the week, and we're looking forward to finishing up strong. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you back here again tomorrow morning.